So this is the second in a series of requests for our great Hammer follower in real life and on the channel, John Walco. But John can tell you as good and as beautifully lit in color that the first movie was in the series or the Mummy series and Hammer. The second one was kind of a bummer, and a lot of people felt it was cursed from the outset, no pun intended, because there was no Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing. Now, although Michael Carras and Alan Rakoff, Michael directed and wrote it with Alex Rakoff, and he also produced it. Terrence Morgan wasn't a good substitute as the lead actor in this one, but we're going to go over it because it's good to recognize what we're trying to do with the Mummy franchise, similar to Universal. Now, The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb came out in '64, written and directed by Michael Carras, starring Terrence Morgan, Ronald Howard, not Ron Howard, Fred Clark, and introducing Jean Rollin. Egypt in the year 1900, it says, the mummy of Re-Antef, son of Ramses VIII, is discovered by three Egyptologists. Englishman John Bray, played by Ronald Howard, and Sir Gilles Dalrymple, played by Jack Gwilym, as well as French professor Eugene Dubois, unbilled Bernard Revel, who died 3 weeks for the film's UK premiere. Cursed, I don't know. Assisting expedition is Professor Dubois' daughter, Bray's fiancée, Annette, played by Roland, herself an Egyptology expert. Now, in this one, all the artifacts are brought back to London by the project's backer, American showman Alexander King, played by Fred Clark, who plans to recoup his investment by staging luridly sensationalist public exhibits of the Egyptian treasures. And of course, if you bring it from the land it came from, it would be cursed. Now, soon after arrival, however, the mummy revives, thus the curse, and starts to kill various members of the expedition, while it becomes evident that sinister Adam Beauchamp, played by Terrence Morgan, the wealthy arts patron, whose members of the expedition meet on the ship return to England, harbors a crucial revelation of the mummy's past and future. Now, cinematography by the great Otto Heller, edited by Erica Boyd Perkins, music by Carlo Martelli. Production was Hammer with Swallow Productions, but British Line Columbia were the distributors of this. Came out in '64, October 18th in UK, 79 minutes, and the $103,000 budget, boys. They cut corners here. Now, Hammer had originally offered a project Universal in '63. The film credits Henry Younger as the screenwriter, while the screenplay was written by Carras and Alvin Rakoff. Now, according to published reports at the time, Universal didn't want to do the sequel, not because they didn't want to do a sequel, just didn't like the overall concept of this one. Now, when it was released by Columbia Pictures BLC Films, it was in support of the much more important Gorgon. The film was distributed by Columbia in the States on 17 February 65, also in support of the Gorgon. In North America, the film was released on the 14th October 2008 on DVD, along with trailer Hammer Horror Films on the 2 DVD set Icons of Horror Collection, Hammer Films, by Sony, and on double feature Blu-ray with The Revenge of Frankenstein by Mill Creek Entertainment in September 2016. However, The Curse of the Mummy followed. His title was misspelled on the Blu-ray spine as Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. Now, from contemporary reviews, Daily Cinema referred to the film as being eerie but routine shocker thrills. But handed to Hammer, you got the kind of scary hokum down to a grisly art. Variety commented on the plot of the film, stating that one needs a crystal ball to sort out the reasons for some of the contrived goings-on in a modest and rather slapdash horror pick. The reason why it didn't do really well at the box office because, not say plot holes, but just too much exposition. We know that when artifacts are moved from Egypt, either off-site, like where the tomb is, or another country, curses would follow. But it didn't explain exactly why, conceptually, it would be so unique to England. Because according to most experts on Egypt, there's been pilfering of graves in Egypt that have been sold worldwide, but why specifically England was chosen for most of the art. Now, the Monthly Film Bulletin noted that the sewer finale has a moderate grandeur, as to be seen to believe, but stated that it's some indication of the film's lack of inventiveness that the mummy's first appearance should be lengthily delayed. Well, yeah, because it was a small budget. Now, because I saw this movie at a drive-in and because it was in Quebecois French, not my native Acadian, I can only give it 2.5 stars out of 5. But a lot of critics basically couldn't understand why the movie was made in the first place. Not because the sequel wouldn't have worked, but having Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing come back, maybe as ancestors of the main two characters of the original Hammer Mummy. Now, in a retrospective review, all movie critic Kevette Bignot called the film a ratty, dull, mummy muddle. Now, the thing is about mummy movies, and I hope you take it the right way, ladies and gentlemen, it's just as important to the horror genre as Dracula, the werewolf, Phantom of the Opera, or whatever. But either you're a mummy fan or you're not a mummy fan, like a lot of what I call fans of Egypt, including my mother who used to collect memorabilia, became fans of Egypt by watching the original Universal 1932. The Mummy fans are much more smarter than Dracula fans because Dracula is sexual, while the Mummy is intellectual because you're stealing artifacts and it's out for revenge. It's more like a film noir. But when you present something, it's got to be coherent from start to finish, especially when you know what the Mummy looks like and you pretty well know he can't be killed by normal means because he's undead. Like a zombie, but a little bit more of a brain. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see a good Universal movie, The Mummy is the original. The Mummy kind of not say sequel, but partial remake by Hammer is quite good. But just watch those first two. When you feel that you need another movie, you could get another Mummy movie in the series. But The Curse of the Mummy, not really what we expected from Hammer, and not having Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing really hurt it at the box office. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing with our John Walco-led Mummy Marathon, as we like to say, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.